6:06 here on the great WRKO AM 680 and now on 93.7 HD2. Good morning, Boston. 617-266-6868 is the number. My friends, I want all of you to hold on to your hats because this is going to be one of the most important shows that the Kuhner Man has ever done since we launched the Kuhner Report here on WRKO, over almost 2 years ago. Our state is now being invaded. Let me repeat that. Our state is now being invaded by a flood of illegal immigrants from Central America. And amazingly, incredibly, shockingly, disgustingly, Mini-Me, the governor of Massachusetts, Deval Patrick, was asked yesterday by reporters that there were numerous reports circulating that the dear leader, President Obama himself, called up Mini-Me and said, we need you to take a large chunk of these illegal immigrants and house them in Massachusetts. After Maryland said no, after the Democratic governor of Maryland said no, after the Democratic governor of Connecticut said no, after Iowa said no, after California said no, after Arizona said no, after state, town after town, city after city said no. Or as I like to put it, because we all have to be good communists now, in fluent Russian, niet. Here is what our own governor said. Roll it, Brittany.
We're trying to sort out about what our capacities are, what the circumstances would be. In the case of unaccompanied minors at the border, it would be in some sort of secure facility. It's not about bringing them into neighborhoods.
This is incredible. I've never seen anything like this I don't think I've ever seen anything like this in my entire life. You have the mayor of Lynn. Now it's coming out Chelsea. Now it's come out that Chelsea has to have 720 new students they just enrolled, 285 they know of directly from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, whereby schools are being bankrupted. Strained to the breaking point. Hospitals to the breaking point. Healthcare clinics to the breaking point. Basic social services to the breaking point. Do you not walk down the streets of Boston? Mini-Me? If you could get out of your limousine? If you could stop doing your junkets to Singapore and Japan and hitting Cancun, Mexico and hitting the beach, if you could actually walk down Boylston Street and see all the homeless people that we have. Look at all the returning veterans that are coming back who need help. What about our own children? And now you're telling us that Massachusetts is now going to become Mexachusetts? That we are now to become the country's dumping ground for all of these illegal criminal aliens that are coming in? This is treason. This is a complete abdication of his duty as the governor to protect the citizens of his own state and to frankly uphold the Constitution of the United States. These aren't just children. We now know there are many gangbangers. Here, I'll talk about it later in the show. Just as an example, one MS-13 gangbanger was found, they arrested him with a carload full of these supposed illegal immigrant children. We now need to have scabies brought into our state. We need tuberculosis. We need all these diseases coming in. God forbid, maybe the swine flu. And now we're to house them. And eventually, because they're going to stay, they're not going anywhere. So then who pays for all this? To put them to school? Public housing? food stamps, EBT, welfare, health care. Already Lynn is on the verge of bankruptcy. Already Chelsea's on the verge of bankruptcy. Cities and towns across Massachusetts have already been sheltering these children that have been coming up. And what is most despicable, absolutely despicable, is we now know of at least 9 plane loads of these children were sent here, flown in here, and he lied. He deliberately claimed, I never knew anything about this. You mean they were being flown off to Bedford and at Logan Airport? No. This is the first I heard of it. No. Now he is telling openly to the people of this state that he is talking with Obama, that he will accept God knows how many of these supposed unaccompanied minors. And they're going to house them here in some facility. In fact, according to the Boston Globe, which they're citing a senior Patrick administration official, they're looking at Camp Edwards. They're looking at a big military base. They want to dump them in Cape Cod. And then eventually, they're not going to be in Cape Cod forever, I guarantee you. Once they're in Cape Cod, they're going to house them, they're going to process them, they're going to hold them for a while, and then eventually they're going to say, send a couple to Lawrence, send some more to Lowell, send a couple to Saugus, send a couple to Peabody, send a couple more to Lynn, but Lynn's going to go bankrupt. Who cares? Send a few more to Lynn. But don't touch Brookline. Don't touch Marblehead. Don't touch Newton. No, those are my people. Those are the limousine liberals. Weston, no, keep that out there. Not there. Not where Mini-Me lives. And definitely not Martha's Vineyard. Because at Martha's Vineyard, the dear leader, by the way, and it's another story, he's going on another vacation. We're being invaded. Our border is being overrun. This guy, I swear to you, God is my witness, is going on another vacation. He wants a 16-day vacation in Martha's Vineyard. I'll tell you this, none of those kids are going to end up in Martha's Vineyard. That I guarantee you. But let that go. But it gets even worse. So not only now is he saying we have to be the dumping ground for all of these criminals coming in, all of these sick children coming in with all of these diseases, as the taxpayer of this state has added up to here. I drove in today on pothole after pothole after pothole. Our roads are a disgrace. And now you stand there and tell us with a straight face we can afford to take in all, who knows how many of these so-called unaccompanied minors here? So now he has to ratchet up the pressure because he knows we can't afford it. He knows it's a threat to public safety. He knows that almost every other state in the union, nobody wants him. For the obvious reasons. Democrats don't want him. Democratic governors don't want him. Democratic cities and towns don't want him. Never mind Republican ones. So now, it's about compassion and tolerance and diversity. And it's about children being reunited with their families. And how can we say no to the children? Roll it, Brittany.
Well, first of all, for children who are reunited with their parents, it's just as if your cousin moved here from out of town. We absorb them in the community, and most of the funding sources that the state supplies to cities and towns take account of those individuals. Although, admittedly, after the fact, meaning after they're counted and after the budget is done. If they need some help through a supplemental budget, I'm sure we're open to that.
Is there going to be a situation where you can say, look, we can't do any more? Connecticut has said...
I don't think you say, and I don't think we in our Commonwealth would say that we can't respond to a humanitarian crisis. There are obviously limits to what we can do, and we're trying to sort that out right now.
What do you mean? What are you looking for? Money, funding? What are you looking for?
First of all, we need to understand the scope of what it is we're being asked to do. But I can tell you that personally, and I don't think it's a Commonwealth, that we're going to turn away and turn our backs to children who are coming from desperate situations.
This is incredible. Okay, all right. A hat tip, by the way, to Fox 25. I think they got the scoop on this, and they did an incredible job, really a wonderful job. All right, a couple of very quick points, and then I wanted to open up to the phone lines. Because, my friends, we have to respond. The state has to respond. The people of this state. And I'm appealing now to everybody. Conservatives, liberals, moderates, Democrats, independents, Republicans. It doesn't matter, because this is going to affect all of us. Those diseases are going to affect all of us. Our strained school system is going to affect all of us. Overflowing classrooms affects all of us. Overflowing hospitals and healthcare clinics affects all of us. Gang members running around, potentially, God knows what, shooting people, killing people, dealing drugs, affects all of us. We're going to become a third world banana state. If this is allowed to pass, if we don't stand up to the governor, we will become Massachusetts. Now, a couple of quick points need to be stressed. Number one, and most importantly, this so-called humanitarian crisis at the border is completely of Obama's own making. He's responsible for this. No one else. In fact, there was an intelligence assessment done by his own Justice Department, his own FBI, his own Drug Enforcement Agency, whereby they interviewed the migrants themselves. And out of 230 migrants that they interviewed, 219 out of 230 said exactly this, that they were told about the DREAM Act, that they were told that illegal immigrant children were given essentially amnesty and could not be and would not be deported. And that eventually their parents could reunify with them. So they all said, yeah, we came up here because we're going to get amnesty. That's what the president said in his own speech. And plus he's going to give amnesty. He wants amnesty. So we figured, just like the dreamers, we come up here, we're safe. He provided the magnet. He provided the incentive. He's the one that basically put up a big bienvenido, come on in sign. And now they're coming up by the tens of thousands. That's point number one. Point number two. Children who are reunited with their parents. It's just as if your cousin moved here from out of town. We absorb them in the community, and most of the funding sources that the state supplies to cities and towns take account of those individuals, although admittedly after the fact, meaning after they're accounted and after the budget is done. If they need some help through a supplemental budget, I'm sure we're open to that. That's exactly what the governor said. Genius. Who's going to pay for all this? You're going to turn all of Massachusetts into Lynn. Our property values are going to sink. Our property taxes are going to go through the roof. Our streets are not going to be safe. Our children are not going to be safe. And here's the final point, and then I want to open it up to the phone lines. Yes, a nation is like a family. I truly believe that. This show and its audience, God is my witness, is like a family to me. And this state that has taken me in and taken my children in. You have no idea how much I love and respect this state, its history, its tradition, the beautiful people that live here, its wonderful communities. But that's the point, my friends. We're family. They're strangers. They're illegal aliens. They're criminals who trampled on our sovereignty, violated our law, and came here illegally. They're not family members. They're not cousins. They're not relatives. They're squatters. They're invaders. And instead of saying, go home, instead of sending them back, instead of encouraging to come more and more in greater numbers, that's all this is going to do, is encourage even more to come. This guy's waving the white flag of surrender on our backs and those of our communities and of our children and of our families. My friends, the future of our state is at stake. Our children, our schools, our streets, our very public safety and health. It is time that we send a message to this governor loud and clear. No to this invasion, not one illegal immigrant child anymore into our community and into our state. And that's why, my friends, I'm announcing this right now. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday, the 26th, July 26th, Kuhner country. Every member of this state, every citizen, I don't care what your ideological or political persuasion is, I need you to show up with me at the steps of the State House for the mother of all rallies. It is about time that we, the people, finally speak up and tell this out-of-control, arrogant governor, we don't work for him. He works for us. And our order to him is plain and simple. Send them all back home. 617-266-6868. This is Massachusetts. It's not Massachusetts. Jeff, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff. Hello?
Hi, you're on the air, Jeff.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said yesterday, this is all basically a big vote grab because there's no one these people are going to vote for if and when they ever vote. It's going to be for the Democrats. So here's what we do. We do something like the fire departments and the police departments used to do, where if you wanted to be a fireman or a policeman in that town, you had to live in that town. So something like that should be done with this. You should, if you vote for this, that in your town, these people, a certain percent, are going to stay in your town, because once you get people staying, these kids and the diseases starting to outbreak, which is more important, outbreak in Topsfield, Boxford, Marblehead, Swampscott. Once you start to get these diseases and these kids into these schools, that's when things will change, Jeff. They're not going to change. They don't care about my kid in the Salem school system. They do not care. They don't care at all. They just want my money, and they want to vote. They're going to get my money no matter what. They're never going to get my vote, but with what they're doing now, they're getting a vote. We have to put them. They have to be housed in North Beverly. They have to be housed in all these places where these politicians live, breathe, shop, and their kids go to school. That's what has to happen. This won't change until someone of authority and a representative or a senator, one of their family members gets sick with an incurable disease, or gets hit by an illegal alien and gets, without a license and gets hurt. That's when it's going to start to change up. They don't care about me. They care about my dollar. They don't even care about my vote. They care about their votes because they know who they're going to vote for, Jeff. This has got to change, and change quick.
Jeff, I hear you. And you're 110% right on everything that you said. However, there's one caveat, and it's a very important one. They're not going to allow those illegal immigrants to go into Marblehead, or to Brookline, or to Newton, or to Wellesley, or you pick your liberal gated community. They're not. Because they run this state, they control the state legislature, they control the state government. Mini-me knows that. So basically, they're going to pick communities, working middle-class communities, and they're going to dump them there. Once they're housed in, whatever, let's just say it's Cape Cod, they're talking Camp Edwards, no decision has been made. But let's just say, for the sake of argument, okay, that they choose Camp Edwards. They're not going to keep them in Cape Cod forever. So when they start dumping those kids and placing them in district after district, town after town, it's not going to be Marblehead. It's not going to be Wellesley. It's not going to be Brookline. It's going to be Salem, and it's going to be Lynn, and it's going to be Peabody, and it's going to be Quincy, and it's going to be Malden, and it's going to be Lowell, and it's going to be Lawrence. That's what they're going to do. And so what he wants is he wants a blitzkrieg. He wants a fait accompli. He wants to make his decision by the weekend, ship these kids in next week. That's what he wants. We got to stop him. We have to now take to the streets. We have a peaceful, civil, nonviolent demonstration. But at the steps of the State House, just as we pushed the government to do the right thing to free Justina Pelletier, Kuhner country, we have to ride once again, this time now, to save our very Commonwealth. Are you with me? 617-266-6868 is the number. Next Saturday, July 26th, the Kuhner Report will hold a major rally at the steps of the State House. Please, I need all of you to be there. Bring your friends, bring your family members, bring relatives, bring as many as you can, because, my friends, we have to make our stand. Laura, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
All right, Jeff, couple of quick points.
Sure.
There's a reason he's called Mini-Me. Okay? Mini-Me. And, secure facility. State House is a secure facility. He just renovated his $9 million office. Put him up, a couple of them up there. All right, until I don't know. I'm just beside myself, and it's like, who's going to pay for it? The Fed's going to pick up the budget. Guess who's paying for it, Jeff? You and me.
You nailed it.
You and me.
You nailed it, Laura. We're going to pay for this. All of us.
All right. Yeah. Well, I'm already paying for it, and don't forget the free phones, Jeff, because I deliver them.
House them at the Taj Deval. Mini-Me, you're looking for a nice facility. Look, they bought a $50 million, I swear to you, in Texas, a hotel and resort. To put 600 of them. Two pools, one an Olympic-sized pool, tennis courts, racquetball courts. I swear to you, jacuzzis, spas, saunas, the whole works. They even want to build them a soccer field. Hey, I say, give them the governor's office. $9 million. It's a beautiful little swanky setup he's got there. And let's see how Mini-Me likes it. 617. Let's see how he likes to be around kids with lice crawling down their face. Let's see how he likes it. 617-266-6868 is the number. Tom, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
Thank you for organizing a rally on this. And my wife, who never, ever has called a political leader, reamed out Governor Patrick's rump swab aide. No doubt a white liberal, no doubt went to college and has all the answers, and she lambasted him. And I am a white male married to a black female, and she is going to have her mother, our mother-in-law, call the governor's office today. People, you have got to take a stand. If not, in a generation, we will lose this country. Thank you, Mr. Kuhner.
Thank you very much, Tom. 617-266-6868. Dave, you're up next. Thanks for holding. You're on the Kuhner Report. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, I got so upset. I know I couldn't do anything. I called the state police in Danvers. Of course, they couldn't do anything, but at least the officer in charge was a very nice guy. I thought he'd hang up on me, but he said there's nothing we can do. And, it's a sense of powerlessness. Do you remember a piece by Edgar Allan Poe? It's called The Mask of the Red Death.
Yes.
That came to mind, and I'm flipping through the pages here, where some duke had a big masquerade, and they thought they'd be safe from this horrendous disease that was killing people, and it just followed them into the ballroom, etc. But I don't know, Jeff. Do you believe that it would be smart, maybe even to break the law a little bit? And I don't know what we can do, but...
Dave, listen, look, we don't need to break the law. Let me tell all of you this, okay? Now, please listen to me. You see how we beat him on Justina Pelletier? How we forced DCF to back down and free her? Because they saw our numbers. They saw how many people were outraged. I am telling you, state lawmaker after state lawmaker, even many Democrats up on Beacon Hill, think this idea is insane. If we show up in big numbers and have a loud, passionate, but peaceful civil rally, Mini-Me will be forced to back down. He cannot oppose the entire people of this state. And I'm telling you, on this one, it's 9-1, 10-1, 15-1. The people of this state don't want their communities threatened. We've had enough. Towns, cities are going bankrupt. We are not going to allow Massachusetts to become Mexachusetts. My friends, if we make our stand, we'll win. If not now, when? If not us, who? 6:31 on the Great WRKO. Coming up next, more with your calls. Also, State Representative Mark Lombardo, he's going to tell all of you just how angry many lawmakers on Beacon Hill are. Let's take it to Angela in the newsroom. 6:39 here on the Great WRKO, 617-266-6868. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer, cleaning up the liberal bull. Governor Deval Patrick has now announced that he is seriously considering having many of these illegal immigrant children being dumped across the border to come in here and be sheltered in Massachusetts. They're already looking at certain facilities. Many lawmakers up on Beacon Hill are upset. They're outraged. I don't blame them. And to come here and talk to us about this is none other than State Representative Mark Lombardo. Representative Lombardo, thank you so much for coming on the Kuhner Report.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Representative Lombardo, what's your reaction to the governor's announcement yesterday?
Oh, I think it's outrageous, and I think that at a time where we see a mass flooding of illegal immigrants over the border and just penetrating the United States and an invasion of our country, for the fact that Massachusetts will be willingly participate in that action, I think is outrageous.
Why do you think the governor decided to do it? Is it just because he's a friend of Obama? Or do you think the speculation is he's thinking about his own political career? He wants to have a career in federal politics. He wants to do the president a big favor, and maybe that'll land him a position in the cabinet or help him with a future presidential run.
I think both are actually fairly accurate. I think there's no doubt that this governor has future ambitions. The fact that he has a super PAC set up and continually running, and has transitioned a lot of his key political allies into his PAC certainly demonstrates that he has some future ambitions on a federal level. In addition, yes, the president is his good friend. So I think there's probably a combination of the two that is, and besides the fact that the third part of it is, his political ideology is of the extreme left. He believes that this country is the United Nations, not the United States, and then there's no problem welcoming in future Democratic voters who illegally want to arrive here in the Commonwealth.
Representative Lombardo, what is the reaction among your colleagues up on Beacon Hill? I know you're a Republican, but even among Democrats, are they receptive to this idea? Or like the Democratic governor of Maryland, Democratic governor of Connecticut, are they saying absolutely no way?
Yeah, nobody's really liking this, on both sides of the aisle. The question is who's going to speak up for it, and so thus far it's been the Republicans, per usual, speaking up and talking about how bad this is. But I think the reality is that the several legislators have noted that this is a terrible election year item for the Democrats. So no one's really too pleased about this. One of the things I think was most outrageous, Jeff, was the comments by the governor that to turn these children of illegal immigrants away would be like when we turned away the Jews trying to escape the Nazi Germany back, earlier in the century. And I just couldn't believe that outrageous statement made by the governor to compare an illegal immigration problem that we have south of our border, for people coming to take advantage of our social welfare programs, comparing that to concentration camps and mass murder and during the time of World War II is absolutely irresponsible and disgusting. And
you're completely right, but it's even worse than that. What he's basically saying is those that oppose it are essentially like the Nazis.
This is exactly what he's trying to indicate, and trying to play to fear and emotion that we have a responsibility to South America to welcome them in with open arms. We don't. This is not the American dream. This is a taxpayer's nightmare. My family had a history of coming through Ellis Island, doing things legally, becoming American, learning the language, never taking advantage of social programs. They worked hard. That is the American dream. Not coming to the United States, being able to get in free housing, welfare cards, free health care, all on the taxpayer's dole. That is not the American dream. And unfortunately, South America is being told that that's the American dream. And, I wonder what's next. Is Massachusetts going to go down on the Mexican border or go down to Texas and put up billboards, come to Massachusetts, everything free in Massachusetts, welfare, health care, housing, schooling. At some point, we have to say, no, we're not going to put up with it. The taxpayers don't want to do it. And we got to make a stance. But this governor is certainly not going to make a stand, but the legislature needs to.
Representative Lombardo, I'm getting a lot of texts on this issue, and many of them are making this point, that what's going to happen is a lot of these illegal immigrants are going to be placed in our communities. It's going to bankrupt those towns. Financially, it's going to be unsustainable. And as they go bankrupt, you're going to see teachers, police officers, firefighters, their pensions are either going to be reduced or they're going to be gone. In other words, does this pose, in your view, a serious financial threat to the financial viability of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts?
Absolutely it does. I mean, right now we know that we're spending nearly $2 billion of our state budget on those who don't qualify for benefits, and particularly that makes up the illegal immigration population. We see the city of Lynn just crying uncle, saying enough. We can't do it anymore. And this is, the liberal city of Lynn. And they're already saying enough. It is not long before other cities, they're going to just start falling like dominoes because they cannot handle the pressure. The revenue is not there to take in, thousands and thousands and thousands of illegal immigrants who are going to tax all the services of a local municipality. And at some point, the money's got to go somewhere. So is there a threat of those long-term benefits going away? Certainly there is. It has to be real. Because if these cities and towns have to find a way to pay their bills, they can only raise taxes so much more on their people before they have to find all the ways to try to take money. And long-term benefits is certainly an area that could be on the table. I think the key is, people need to wake up now before we allow ourselves to be completely bankrupt so that we can't fulfill the promises that were made to our police officers, our firefighters, our teachers. They need to help speak up and have a little self-preservation and to ensure that we're not giving away the farm for those who shouldn't even be in this country.
We are talking with State Representative Mark Lombardo. Representative Lombardo, let me ask you this. Next Saturday, not this Saturday, but July 26th, we're going to be holding a major rally. Details are to come. We haven't nailed down the time yet, but we're working on it furiously behind the scenes. Can we count on you to be there?
You absolutely can.
Representative Lombardo, you think we can win this fight if we all band together?
We have to win this fight, Jeff. That's not a matter of can. We have to. And so if we get together, as you mentioned, look what we did for Justina Pelletier. This is something that affects everybody in the Commonwealth. We all have to get out and we have to have our voice heard. We can and we will and we must win this battle.
We have been talking with State Representative Mark Lombardo. He's one of the good guys fighting for us up on Beacon Hill. Representative Lombardo, thank you so much for coming on the Kuhner Report, and I'll see you next Saturday.
Sounds great. Take care.
God bless you. 617-266-6868. Lines are blazing. And Wall, you're up next. Thanks for holding, and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff.
Hi.
Hi, Jeff. There's a saying that says that charity begins at home. I'm just going to give you 2 examples of what happened. I live in the city of Malden. For the past 5 years, my kids has been going to the Salvation Army in Malden for summer program. For a small fee that I pay for the whole summer for my 2 boys. This year, I try to go sign them up for the same summer program. I got there, and the doors were closed. So I called the number and find out what's going on. There's no summer program for this year. They said no, their budget were cut. So they don't have budget to support this year's summer program. So I was like, okay. So I went down to the city hall to find out what's going on because I didn't want to have my boys laying around. I wanted them to do something for the summer. And I went there. Can you believe they also told me that the budget were cut? In order for my boys to go to summer program, I'm going to have to pay $30 for each kid to go to summer program. I can't afford it, but they can afford to housing how many illegal kids, and my kids are United States citizens.
I'm not trying to upset you, but it's just because this is the truth. Not only are they being housed, these illegal immigrants, they're putting up in hotels and resorts. They have them in tennis courts, I swear to you, racquetball courts, soccer fields, spa. Did you guys have jacuzzis and spas and saunas at the Salvation Army for your boys?
Jeff, no. Jeff, right now I'm working part-time just so I could stay home and watch my kids because I can't afford to pay $30 a day, $60 for my two boys to go to summer program for 4 hours a day. So now I'm staying home to watch my kids. God bless you, Jeff.
God bless you very much, Anwar, and take care. 617-266-6868. What about our kids? What about our people that are suffering here? So we have to divert all of our precious resources because Mini-Me and the dear leader say so? Because they want to import as many people as possible for votes? I'm sorry, my friends, this is wrong. This is wrong on so many levels. And I'll be damned if I'm going to allow this state to become a third world banana state. No way. A Mini-Me, he's off. He's got 6 months to go and then he's done. He's off to Washington, D.C. He wants to make his political career upon our backs. Well, you know what, Mini-Me? I'm sorry. But you know what? Find some other sucker, because the people of this state have had enough. Robert, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm standing in front of the State House today getting ready for the gas tax rally.
Oh, and, at noon today?
Yeah, at noon today.
Okay, well, apparently State Representative Jeff Deal is also going to be talking about this issue as well.
That's right. He's going to name off all the wasteful spending. But anyway, listen, I contacted my federal rep, Steve Lynch. Steve is nowhere to be found. He sent me to his legislative aide who had no idea this is being flied in here. It's all of a sudden when Hodgson says there's 500 that they're making announcements that they've come here for a long time. So, Jeff, here's the plan. Perfect time to get rid of all these illegals, all of them. Start with the kids and just keep going right down the line. We'll deport them all. Just the time to do it. Organize.
I'm with you, Robert. I'm with you. My friends, look, this is a watershed moment. We're going to teach these people that run our state that this is our state. It's not their state. And the peasants want to take their state and their country back. And next Saturday, my friends, the political revolution begins. Let's take it to Rush Limbaugh, Brittany, 651 on the great WRKO. 6:59 here on the great WRKO. William, you're up next. Thanks for holding and welcome.
Good morning, Jeff. Oh, Jeff, this is great that you're going to get this rally together. The biggest, last time when we had the Justina rally there, I had a problem. Everybody that I told to try to get to go to this rally, they asked, where will we park our cars? Traffic's going to be bad. Well, they don't have to park their cars. All they have to do is go to the local T station, like Lakeville to Boston. Round ticket is $21. It costs $4 to park your car there. And from the T to South Station, from the South Station to the State House is less than a quarter of a mile. And they can use all over the metropolitan area, there's T stations. Not only that, if some of these younger people want to be what we could call Tea Party commandos, have them type up flyers advertising the date of the rally and leave them in libraries, post them on poles and pass them out downtown, you know. But that was the biggest question when I was talking people into going to the Justina rally was, where do we park our cars? And
William,
the answer.
Great point. We're going to be working on the logistics of this, but I want to send flyers out, not just in downtown Boston, in Lynn, in Chelsea, in Malden, in Lawrence, in Lowell, in towns all over. I want everybody to know about this. I'd love to bring half the city down there. I'm not kidding. The bigger we are, the stronger our message. I want it to resonate loud and clear. I want it to be so big, honestly, that Mini-Me is going to have to back down. And my friends, I'm telling you, we can win this fight if we show up in numbers next Saturday. I'll give you the exact time. I'll give you all the details. But if we bring enough people, not only will he back down, I believe we can break him politically right there. Because we can expose him for the arrogant coward that he is, the bully and the thug that he is. You think you can bring all of these children into our state? And we're just going to lay down and take it? I'm sorry. This is not a dictatorship, Mini-Me. This is a constitutional democracy. And you work for us. And we're telling you now loud and clear, no illegal immigrants in the state of Massachusetts. Period. Comprende? 617-266-6868. My friends, we're going to be staying on this story. Coming up next, he compares taking in the illegal immigrants, I swear to you, to the Holocaust. That story after this short news break. 7:02, let's take it to Angela Anderson in the newsroom.
News at the top and bottom, talk in between.
Yes, it is. Thank me very much. Go right ahead, my friend.
This is AM 680 WRKO, Boston.
7:07 here on the great WRKO AM 680 and now on 93.7 HD2. Hour 2 of the Kuhner Report. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. 617-266-6868. You can also text us 680-680. All right, my friends, I said it in the first hour, and I really want to reiterate it. This is maybe the most important, well, the Boston bombing was the most important shows I ever did, but right after the Boston bombings, this is one of the most important shows I will ever do and have done over the last nearly 2 years that this show was launched here on WRKO. To me, an absolutely stunning statement. After the Democratic governor of Maryland, Martin O'Malley, said we do not want to send any more of these illegal immigrants into our state, after Maryland said no, after the Democrats in Connecticut said no, after Iowa said no, after California said no, after Arizona said no, after state, city after city, town after town, saying we do not want to have these illegal unaccompanied minors being dumped into our communities and into our neighborhoods. Amazingly, Governor Deval Patrick, Mini-Me, taking a phone call from his buddy and friend Barack Hussein Obama, the dear leader, admitted to Fox 25 yesterday, it's now been reported in every major media outlet in the state, that he has now been asked by the President of the United States to bring in a good substantial number or chunk of the 60,000 illegal immigrant children that have been dumped over the border, and to be then sheltered in some kind of major facility or facilities in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. And Mini-Me has said it's for the children. And we can't turn our backs on the children. And that the people of Massachusetts are big-hearted enough to be able to accept these children and to help shelter these children. And eventually these children, we all know, are not going to be stuck on some Air Force base or some military base. They're eventually going to be distributed and placed within our communities. In fact, I bet you by September, just in time for the school year. And knowing the intense backlash, knowing report after report of lice, of tuberculosis, of smallpox, of scabies, of the measles, of even concerns about the swine flu and the Ebola virus, now that many of them are criminal gang members, these so-called children, many of them 18, 19, 20, 21, 24 years of age. In Lynn, for God's sakes, they're finding them 35, 40 years of age. Knowing that many now have ties to the Mexican drug cartels, knowing the intense backlash, knowing that the people of this state do not want to be a dumping ground for all of these illegal immigrants coming across, invading our borders. Mini-Me then plays, I swear to you, the Holocaust card. The Holocaust card. That not accepting these children, according to Mini-Me, would be like what was done in 1939 on the St. Louis. That ship that was carrying those Jews that were turned back, and then a quarter of whom would later be perished in the Holocaust. And so, not accepting these children is like turning back those Jewish kids that died in the Holocaust under the Nazis. Because we will be sending them to their certain death back in Central America. Here is Mini-Me, our own governor, basically saying that the people of his state, if they oppose this, are essentially Nazis and aiding and abetting another Holocaust. Roll it, Brittany.
My inclination is to remember what happened when a ship full of Jewish children tried to come to the United States in 1939, and the United States turned them away. And many of them went to their deaths in Nazi concentration camps. I think we are a bigger-hearted people than that as Americans, and certainly as residents of Massachusetts.
This is disgusting. I mean, I'm choosing my words very, very carefully. This is one of the most insulting, demagogic statements I have ever heard in my life as a journalist and as an historian. Where is the Jewish community? I'm sorry, but where are my fellow Jewish friends? I mean, I'm a Catholic, but everybody knows I'm a big supporter of Israel. This man is pimping out the Holocaust. How dare this man compare illegal immigrants who come from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador to what the Nazis did to the Jews during Second World War, throwing them in the gas chambers? Those children were sent to Auschwitz and Buchenwald. Those kids are going back to Guatemala, for God's sakes. What is this guy talking about? They're a banana republic. Yes, they have violence. Yes, many Latin American countries do. Yes, they have problems with drugs and the gangs and the drug cartels. Most Latin American countries do. But the last time I checked, they weren't Nazi states. They weren't totalitarian fascist states where people were being liquidated and thrown into the gas chambers, into the ovens. In fact, every single one of them who's been interviewed has admitted the only reason why they're here is not because they're going to be thrown into the gas chambers. Genius. No, forgive me, I'm being too polite. Stupid. Is because they've openly said, no, Obama said children of illegal immigrants or illegal immigrant children, they don't get deported. The DREAM Act. So we figured we're going to come on up and take advantage of it. That's what the coyotes were telling us. He is pimping out the bodies of the people who died in Auschwitz and Buchenwald to try to score cheap political points to justify the invasion of this state, for him to dump illegal immigrants that the people of this state do not want. Is nothing sacred to you? Do you have no decency? Governor, you are desecrating the memory of those that died at Treblinka and at Buchenwald and at Auschwitz to suit your cheap political purposes because now you want to lick the boots of the dear leader? Mini-me. You want to be like the dear leader? Mini-me. Because you want to use this to further your political career? Mini-me. You want to become president one day? Mini-me. And walk in the footsteps of the great, of the dear leader? Mini-me. So now you have to start throwing out the Holocaust analogy? And my friends, what is even more insulting, he's insulting all of you. He's insulting us. He's insulting the people of the United States and especially the people of Massachusetts who don't want these illegal immigrants. He's saying essentially, wink, wink, the assumption, the implicit assumption is, you're like the Nazis. You're willing to send them back to their deaths. You're like the Nazis. We're Nazis. The mayor of Lynn is a Nazi? Because she says we're at the breaking point? I've got classes that are overflowing. We've got tuberculosis. We've got 40-year-olds sitting in the 9th grade beside 14-year-old kids. People in Chelsea are saying they're seeing diseases now they haven't seen in years. They've got at least 300 Guatemalan, Honduran, El Salvadoran children. Their schools are going bankrupt. Their hospitals are going bankrupt. They're seeing gangbangers on the streets they didn't see before. MS-13 is infiltrating their neighborhoods. And suddenly now, because you care about your own children, about your own schools, about your own hospitals, about the safety of your own communities, now that's Nazism? Mini-me. You demagogue. You phony. You fraud. You. No, I'll tell you what. If it's Nazism to not want these kids here, okay, I'll tell you what, mini-me. If you're this big humanitarian, if you're this big Gandhi as you claim to be, how come you're not adopting those kids? How come you don't take 3, 4, 5 and put them in your house? How come you don't house them at your $9 million renovated office, you phony, you fraud, you? Why don't you take them to your house in Milton, you fraud? Instead, you dare insult the people of this state? Calling us Nazis? Because we don't want people with all kinds of diseases coming into our community? People many of whom are criminals? Here, let me give you just a taste of what people are facing in this country. Okay? Here. We're Nazis now for opposing this. Just to show you the insanity of liberalism. Okay? This is a story not from National Review. This is not a story from Fox News, the so-called right-wing media. This is from the Associated Press. And it has been verified by numerous other media outlets. Pedro Alberto Monterreso Navas was from Honduras. He's one of these alleged unaccompanied minors. I'm looking at this guy. This guy's got to be, he's 43 years of age. Well, pretty old to be a minor, but let that go. So he's part of these so-called minors that are now crossing the border. This 43-year-old man. He came across the border in McAllen, Texas on June 26, 2014. That's where he was processed. He is an illegal immigrant from Honduras. He was captured, processed, and then he was released. Last weekend, this supposed unaccompanied minor was in New Orleans where he butchered his supposed 24-year-old, a woman identified as a 24-year-old woman, Heidi Monroe, who had 3 children, a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, and an 8-year-old. He allegedly murdered her by bludgeoning her to death in her apartment in New Orleans. They released a man who was a murderer, who ended up murdering an American citizen. I'm just giving you a little taste. That's what we need in Massachusetts. More people like him coming in. My friends, he is spitting on the people of Massachusetts. It's our taxes that are going to have to sustain this. It's our communities that are going to bear the brunt. It's our children who are going to be exposed to this. It's our schools that are going to be overflowing and overcrowded. It's our hospitals and healthcare clinics that could go bankrupt. It's our social services that are going to be strained to the breaking point. It's our streets that are going to have these criminals running around in. Not mini-me, ours. And that he holds us in such contempt that he's even willing now to pimp out the Holocaust and imply that we're Nazis? I am now urging every member of the Jewish community in Massachusetts and in the country to condemn these vile comments by the governor and to demand that he retract them. This is an insult to every Jew that died in Auschwitz, Buchenwald, or in the Holocaust. 617-266-6868 is the number. My friends, should we allow these illegal immigrants to now be dumped in the state of Massachusetts? Mini-Me says yes. I say no. Where do you stand? 617-266-6868. More with your calls. Next.
My inclination is to remember what happened when a ship full of Jewish children tried to come to the United States in 1939, and the United States turned them away. And many of them went to their deaths in Nazi concentration camps. I think we are a bigger-hearted people than that as Americans, and certainly as residents of Massachusetts.
727 here on the great WRKO. He's also an ignoramus. The St. Louis, the ship he's referring to, yes, it had some Jewish children, but it also had men, it had women, it had adults. I mean, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's time for a rally, my friends. Next Saturday, Kuhner Report, Kuhner Country is going to be holding a major rally. Details to come, the time, etc. But it will be at the steps of the State House. Please, I need all of you and your family members and friends to show up. It's time we put this governor in his place. Elizabeth, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
Good morning. Just two thoughts. For one, I'm surprised that people aren't getting more outraged in the fact that we can't even handle our own children within our, DCF system. We're losing kids left and right, and they're dying, and they're not getting, upset that we're going to bring in more more children to the state and assume the cost. My other thought is that if the governor said that he was going to take these children and put them in some of the upper echelon towns, say Hingham, Norwell, Duxbury, Wellesley, Newton, then you'd see people start to get, enraged. But because they're going to end up going to cities like, Lynn or, Chelsea, the lower income, the people aren't getting as crazy because it's not in their backyard.
You nailed it. Elizabeth, I couldn't have said it better myself. 617-266-6868. And that's what he's counting on. People's apathy. He thinks, they're complacent, they're apathetic. The people of Massachusetts will take it on the chin. Well, next Saturday, we're going to show him the people have had enough. Donna, you're up. The peasants are revolting. Donna, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
Hello. I've got a question.
Sure.
How many people live in homeless shelters right now? How many kids are in the welfare system that are needing adopted? And he's wanting to bring in more people? Well, we can't even take care of our own. Until we have no people in homeless shelters or kids waiting to be adopted, we should not even be letting anyone in.
I'm with you, Donna. This makes no sense. Politically, economically, culturally, socially, on any level, this makes absolutely no sense. Except he's doing the dear leader a big favor on our backs. 617-266-6868, 7:30 on the great WRKO. More with your calls. Next. 7:37 here on the great WRKO. Jeff Kuhner, Boston's bulldozer. Mini-Me, Governor Deval Patrick, has now admitted to the press that the dear leader, Obama, being told no by Maryland, no by Connecticut, no by Iowa, no by California, by state after state, he's now turned to his good friend and buddy, Governor Deval Patrick, Mini-Me, to help take in a significant number of the illegal, unaccompanied minors and have them sheltered here in Massachusetts. The governor has said he's going to take many of them in. The question is how much and where are they going to be sheltered? So essentially he wants to turn Massachusetts into Massachusetts. And he's saying that to oppose this is similar to turning back the St. Louis, that ship full of Jews back to Nazi Germany, where they were perished and killed, many of them, in the Holocaust. So basically, we're Nazis. To oppose this, you're a Nazi. 617-266-6868. I want to read one text, because I think it really captures a lot that's at the heart of this issue. And one of the concerns, a big concern that many people have. 978. Jeff, I have MS. It's an incurable disease which compromises your immune system. If I die from one of these diseases coming in, will the governor go on trial for premeditated murder? 978. No. But he should. Because he's placing all of us and our kids and communities in jeopardy. Before I take some more calls, what is happening now is eerily reminiscent of the fall of Rome. This is almost exactly how Rome fell. And so Mini-Me, the uneducated ignoramus that he is, the historically illiterate ignoramus that he is, wants to compare this opposition to somehow the Nazis. Well, okay, you want to compare us to the Nazis? I'm comparing what you're doing directly to the fall of Rome. Now, I want you to listen to this, because this is straight from the BBC, their ancient history in depth, where they talk about the fall of Rome. Let me read to you just 2 key points. They go on about how Rome began to fall. And they cite this really began in the 4th century, where the acceleration, the fall, the decline and disintegration really began to accelerate. And this is what the BBC said. I'm quoting to you now directly, and this is really standard history. This is almost what you see in most history textbooks on the fall of Rome. Quote, Stage 1, listen very closely, consisted of immigration onto Roman soil, followed by a second stage of aggressive expansion of the territory under the illegal migrants' control. So, Stage 1 consisted of massive illegal immigration. They were basically the Germanic tribes. The Romans referred to them in quotes as barbarians, because they were non-Roman. So the German tribes came across the Roman frontiers illegally, and they began to settle all across the Roman Empire. And so they took hold in the Roman soil, on Roman land, and then they followed this by a second stage of aggressive expansion. They grew and grew on the territory under the migrants' control. So now you have this huge illegal immigrant, then Germanic population on Roman soil. The central Roman state, I'm now reading directly from the BBC, collapsed because the illegal migrants forcibly stripped it of the tax base. You see, they had to start giving it more and more benefits to take care of these settlements and these Germanic settlements, to pacify them. And so that was less money for police, less money for roads, less money for the Roman army and the Roman military. And before you knew it, Rome itself collapsed. Those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it. We are repeating the fall of Rome almost to a T. And this buffoon in the governor's office, this clown, Mini-Me, thinks he can lecture us about the Nazis? 617-266-6868. Next Saturday, Kuhner Country is holding a major rally. No to illegal immigrants being dumped in our state. Please, I need all of you to show up. We'll give you more details. It's going to be at the steps of the State House, time and everything else in the next coming days. But please get ready. Mark it on your calendar. Saturday, July 26th. The people of Massachusetts take their stand. Corey, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
Jeff, I'm an anomaly. I'm a middle-aged, white male who's Jewish, living in Massachusetts, that's a conservative. And I heard what Mini-Me said last night, and I was sick to my stomach. I'm so tired of these people utilizing the Jews to just push around. We've centuries. We've been kicked, knocked down, decimated, genocide, and we're the only group of people that don't stand there looking for a handout. All we want is two things: the opportunity to do well for ourselves and a little patch of land we can call our homeland in Israel. And these people utilize the Holocaust to push through a point and try to guilt everybody into letting these illegal aliens in. And the people in the St. Louis, they weren't coming here for handouts. They were coming here to escape genocide and to make a better life for themselves. These illegal immigrants are not doing that. They're coming here so they can just get everything for free and take us down.
Corey, I got to ask you this. I mean, as a Jew, do you not feel it insults, almost desecrates the memory of those that died in Auschwitz and Treblinka and Buchenwald in those gas ovens, to compare us, the people of this state and the country, who don't want this invasion of criminals and gangbangers and sick, diseased children?
It trivializes the pain and suffering that a generation of people went through, of just basically trying to be wiped off the face of the earth. And that's all we face. But yet, I see all the time these people who are, they're Holocaust deniers, and then they're supporting Palestine, and it's just like, you know what? Utilize Jews and the plight of the Jews when it helps you and it suits your fancy, and but all the other times, don't worry about it. And by the way, it was the quote-unquote great FDR Democrat who turned the St. Louis away.
Thank you for that call, Corey. 617-266-6868. Where's the Anti-Defamation League? Where's the ADL? Where are all these leading Jewish organizations condemning Mini-Me? Saying this is absolutely outrageous and inexcusable. Nothing. They're silent. It's like a liberal Democrat can defame the memory of victims of the Holocaust all day long. And the other question I have for Mini-Me, that lunatic, where's the genocide in Honduras? I'm sorry, am I missing something? Are they trying to wipe every Honduran off the face of the earth? Every El Salvadoran, every Guatemalan? What are you talking to me about? To even compare it to Nazi Germany shows to me how disconnected from reality this man is. Jen, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome.
Hi, Jeff. I love your show.
Oh, thank you, Jen.
I am so distressed as a citizen of Massachusetts that Deval Patrick would allow this to happen. And what I think is most upsetting for me is that these kids are going to go into the school systems that are already struggling here in this state. And that's just not fair. And I'm also tired of having to supplement other people's bad decisions. My husband and I are just turned 30, and we work over 100 hours a week combined, and it's really troubling to me that people who work hard, the middle-class people, have to continue to supplement for these other people's mistakes and for other people's bad decisions. And I really am worried about the school systems that these kids are going to go into.
Jen, they're going to be bringing in diseases. We know that some of them are criminals, gangbangers. Some of them are, in fact, 35, 40 years of age. We had the mayor of Lynn on, and she said there's more than a couple where you have a 40-year-old man. By the way, they don't know their criminal backgrounds. There's no documentation. So they could be like this guy I cited the last story, this guy who came in through Texas, this 43-year-old Honduran. He could be a murderer. It could be a rapist. And you're going to allow this by the thousands into Massachusetts? This is insane. No self-respecting state, no self-respecting governor who gave a scintilla, a shred of compassion or care for his own citizens would allow this. No, and I have to say something else. Jen, look, I work 100 hours a week. Many people who listen to this show, them and their family, they work 100 hours a week. But in the end, I have to blame us, and myself included. We're the peasants, and they keep taking and taking and taking and taking. Until we say enough is enough, until we grab our pitchforks and say no mas, no more, they're going to keep taking from us. So it's time that we taught this criminal gang, this ruling class, this ruling elite, these overlords, we're not their serfs. We're not their servants. You can't just do whatever you want to us in our communities. You want them that badly, Mini-Me? You take them in. Otherwise, not one illegal immigrant in Massachusetts. Comprende, amigo? 617-266-6868 is the number. Yeah, that's what I said, comprende. No, comprende, amigo. See, he gets that. He understands that. When I talk to him in English, he doesn't get it. But when I go, comprende, amigo, well, sí. Sí, señor. Compañeros. See, the compañeros, the peasants are rising up. Bill, you're up next. Thanks for holding. Welcome. Hello, Bill. Did we lose Bill? Hello, Bill.
Yeah, hi, Jeff. Jeff, this is a very inhumane thing you're doing. A very inhumane thing you're doing. And anybody that's listened to this station that is a Roman Catholic, by the way, I excommunicated you months ago, okay?
What power do you have to excommunicate me? Only the Pope can do that.
Jeff, don't tell me
Hold on, what are you, the Pope? What are you, the Pope?
Don't tell me what I can't do. Jeff,
you can't excommunicate me. Who the hell do you think you are? You can excommunicate.
Where's your parish at? Because I'm gonna confront that church. That you're no longer invited.
I'm no longer invited to the Roman Catholic Church?
You're no longer invited to attend any Catholic. Well, you can attend the Catholic, but you can't receive the Holy Eucharist.
I can't?
You can be heard. Or if you want to repent, you can do that.
Why, hold on. Why can't I take Holy Communion, Bill?
I myself can't believe what I'm hearing. Yes, the people of the St. Louis ship, the Jewish people that were turned away, were turned away from the United States. But at that time, Hitler wasn't exterminating them. And as far as the Roman Empire is concerned, the Roman Empire brought that migration on themselves by trying to conquer the world, you fool.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea. Well, look, we can take this one by one. Bill.
Where did you come from?
Bill.
Where the hell did you come from?
Oh, I came here legally.
You heroin choker. Where the hell did you come from?
I came here legally. I didn't come here illegally. Did I come here? Whoa. Did I come here legally or illegally, genius?
Where did you come? Why did you come here?
Because I think it's the greatest country in the history of the world. But I respected this country's laws. I didn't come in here illegally. You get that, genius? Do you understand that? And I'm not a criminal, and I'm not a gang, turn him down, and I'm not a gangbanger, and I don't have ties to MS-13, and I didn't bring in tuberculosis, and I didn't bring in measles, and I didn't bring in scabies. You get the difference? Number one. Number two, look, I'm sorry, the Roman Empire had its boundaries. They were invaded by massive Germanic tribes. Every historian has commented on that. So for you to dispute that, frankly, you're insane, okay? Now, as for me being excommunicated, I don't know what you're talking about. I have every right to have a position on illegal immigration. So for you to stand there and tell me I don't have a right to have an opinion, what are you, a dictator? You're going to tell me, whoa. You're going to tell me that Hitler wasn't passing anti-Semitic laws in Germany? You're going to tell me that he wasn't talking about the final solution?
I don't care what he wasn't exterminating the people at that time.
Well, he was getting ready to exterminate them.
You fool! He was not, and he gave the people a chance to leave on a ship. Them people can't say.
So what? Hitler's a humanitarian?
2x4 on that water.
Yeah. So what? Hitler was a humanitarian? You're unbelievable.
If you want to compare what's going on in Guatemala and Honduras and all them places down there, yes, it's worse than Germany.
Okay? Honduras and Guatemala and El Salvador. You're telling me, whoa. You're telling me that in Guatemala, Honduras, Guatemala, in Central America, you're telling me that they have Nazi states that are planning to liquidate millions of their own people. Is that what you're telling me?
you at that meeting, at that little confrontation you want to have. We'll see who's the bigots and the racists and who are the good people in this Commonwealth.
You said to me that the situation in Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador is worse than it was under Nazi Germany.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Because it could be the same thing.
Yeah, right. Let me ask you.
It could be the same thing. And then people that
name me the names of the Give me the names of the fascist dictators in the Central American republics that want to massacre millions of their own people. Who are they? What systems are you talking about?
You're denying them?
Hello?
I'm here.
So, I'm asking you. You're not listening. You're just rambling. You're a lunatic.
You're not listening. You're a bad guy, Jeff.
Okay, fine. Adios. Don't listen to the show. I don't know what else to tell you. What does this say about you? That you listen to a guy that you think is a lunatic. So now the line is from the libs. Check this out, my friends, okay? Now the line is that Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador are not only Nazi states, it's even worse there than under Hitler. Think about that for a second. 617-266-6868 is the number. So, hey, Bill, you take them in. Why don't you take them in? Go down to the border and grab 3 or 4 or 5 kids. 7:54 on the great WRKO. More with your calls. Next. 7:59 here on the Kuhner Report. Natalie, you're on WRKO, and welcome.
That's my luck. I get to follow Bill. Hey, I know it's been brought up before, but I wish we would keep bringing it up and elaborate on it. This whole mess is by design. Please expand upon the Cloward and Piven strategy. They were leftists at Columbia University who devised this plan to overload the social safety nets to force a collapse, and then they were hoping for civil unrest, meaning riots and mayhem in the streets in our neighborhoods, and then the government would step in and impose a communist-type state. So please expound upon that in the next hour, if you could, Jeff.
I will, Natalie. That was Saul Alinsky. Those are the people that Obama studied at the feet of and admired greatly. That's what he's doing to this country, and he's using one of his henchmen, Mini-Me, to do it right here in the state of Massachusetts. 617-266-6868, unless we stop him, and stop him now. 8 o'clock on the great WRKO. Let's take it to Angela Anderson in the newsroom.
News at the top and bottom. Talk in between.
Yes, it is. Thank me very much. Go right ahead, my friend.
This is AM 680 WRKO, Boston.